All right, second biznitch.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, my take for he doesn't like being filmed, does he? No, he likes to be behind the camera.
No, I said I was going to pass the camera around. I even showed us passing the camera around, and so he filmed me.
Some live action of you filming him.
Oh, that's good too. You send that to James as well. He loves it.
Continue on.
And go. Okay, here we are in Union Square in San Francisco. Super cool again. Well, this is weird. And why we like Union Square so much. Union Square is where the pro-union forces met as a rallying point to get people to enlist in the army and send them all the way back to the East Coast. So this place is an amazing place, is San Francisco. Founded hundreds of years ago, but really didn't take off till 1849 with the gold rush. And then the Americans were very worried that the Spanish were going to take what they had. So then time passes, and San Francisco becomes this crazy place, just like Barcelona, where it has a rich history and art. You can see it behind me, and it's got all sorts of things. It's a place of the coming out of alternative lifestyles, and I think the Gay Pride Parade was the first place for it. That was all post World War II. Art and music and radicalism, and still a financial hub on the West Coast. This place has it all. Even sports teams have been crazy successful. The Golden State Warriors and the San Francisco 49ers. It's crazy. But then, one of the things I just read, there's a Wells Fargo Museum, which you think would be boring. But Wells Fargo wasn't boring. Mr. Wells and Mr. Fargo, back in the US, heard that there was a gold rush out here in 1849. So what did they do? They went to American Express, which Express meant like a shipping company. And they went to American Express and said, you need to open up in the West Coast. And American Express said, nope, we're not going to. We don't believe that anything is going to happen in the West Coast. So they said, oh yeah, bite it. So they started their own company called Wells Fargo. They made red and gold chariots or wagons, and they started to deliver the goods from Texas, was as far west as the country was at that time, to the West Coast. And they transported gold all the way back from the West Coast to the East Coast. And they were fantastically successful. And even in this tiny little museum, there's this thing about one of the two, Wells or Fargo, traveled out by steamer, which meant, I think, you would have had to go to like Texas and then take another boat up the coastline. Didn't say where it came from. And they said it was a great journey. Only 15 people died. What? So that was the time and the place. So entrepreneurialism was a huge thing even then. And America was all about, if you have the gumption and the attitude, the ambition, people will help you succeed. And those two guys have a company that they started more than 150 years ago that is incredibly successful to this date. And my point on another place in the world, San Francisco, is that all of us need to embrace the opportunity we see in front of us to throw down and try and make a success of it, work hard. And if you have a great idea, people will appreciate what you're doing.
Okay, now we're coming up on some more biznitches. This guy right here, oh no, not that guy. These guys here, incredibly successful biznitches. Let's see what they got to say. Biznitch George, you're live.
I'm live. Well, hello, biznitches. How is everybody out there? I'm sure as you've heard from Chuck, we're in beautiful San Francisco. And remember, we've taken a little bit of a hiatus, but we have not done El Duce term of the week.
That's
and
right.
this is actually an excellent opportunity for me to go through one of the most audacious terms, IPO. What is an IPO? As opposed to PO, pissed off, or whatever
Right.
it is, IPO is actually an initial public offering.
The initial piss off?
Initial piss off. No, Jared, it's not the initial piss off. It's the initial public offering. Inaugural public offering? Well, I guess we can call it an inaugural public offering, but it's an initial one. And it's very opportune to speak about it when we're in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, all the tech companies, startups, and everything like that. But what is an IPO? Well, IPO originally is a primary market transaction. So you don't have to think about, the Alduche stockbroker and all those guys or whatever it is. The primary market is the very initial transaction that a company is actually selling securities. It's fantastic. Now, most common guys like you and me and all of that, we don't really get access to many of these IPOs. So what we usually do is we go through the secondary market. When you log into your iTrade or your Questrade or whatever it is and you're buying something, it's actually off a secondary market because you're buying from somebody that's already bought off an IPO many moons ago or whatever it is.
So what bugs you about IPOs?
Well, what bugs me about IPOs is that they're not actually they're not readily available to the average investor. IPOs are very specific to, president's
institutions
lists.
and stuff.
Yeah, president's lists, institutions.
Got it.
That's so on and so forth.
That is super annoying.
Yeah, you got to be somebody to get on an IPO list.
I'm with you, George.
Yeah.
That is incredibly annoying.
It is incredibly annoying. So you're always buying in the secondary world, initially off stocks. The odd time you might be able to get an IPO off of a bond offering, but again, those things are very rare, and they're not available to the average investor like you and me. Now off to you, Jared. Please tell us a little bit about San Francisco.
Well, George, you see, I've been doing my homework, and this is what I've learned. In the early 1800s, the Spanish, and of course they became Mexican, the Mexicans, I guess, they set up a mission here as they did all up and down the coast. They did it all up and down the coast of what is now California, but they had a mission based here, and then you see in about 1848, somebody discovered gold in and around that mission, and then came the people.
That's
So
right.
Between beginning of 1848 and the end of 1849, the city's population went from 1,000 to 25,000.
What?
Smokes. Yeah.
And how many years?
2 years. January 1848 to the end of to December 1849. And they say at that time that the big natural harbour, which is actually one of the largest, if not the largest harbour on the Pacific, which is why I love San Francisco. Well, I don't kind of love it. I have an issue with San Francisco because I'm from a yachting background, and I hate that New Zealand didn't win the America's Cup in this harbour, as cool as it was, but it's a very large harbour. And that gave, through that whole time period, with all the ships coming, bringing all the gold rush prospectors, I guess they are, the harbour became a major shipping harbour and became very important from a naval point of view, and hence we have what is Alcatraz was a naval station, I'll call it. And so from that point on, San Francisco's had its history as one of the most important ports in the world for trade.
Oh. Is that why they call them the San Francisco 49ers, by the way?
That is indeed why they're called the 49ers, named after the gold rush of 1849.
Cool.
All right, all you young crazy businesses. Here's my take on San Francisco. Fantastic place, all sorts of things going on. And frankly, it seems to me this is a place where if you have a dream and a desire to do something, you can just go for it. But I say in general, that's what we should all do. We should all figure out what our dream is, and we should chase it down, because you never know where it'll lead you. Like the Wells Fargo guys, like the Gold Rush guys, even the San Francisco 49ers, man, they had a dismal history and now they're doing fantastic.
Good luck, Jimmy Garoppolo.
All right. So my take on San Francisco, opportunity. Take your opportunity when you see it. Whether it's 1849, people were prepared to just pack up, leave everything they had in the East, or coming from China. A ton of them came from China.
That's right. You're right.
They come here to make their fortune, saw the opportunity.
Yeah,
and
good
took
point.
it. I guess, is that the original IPO, Gold Rush? There it is. There's the raw product in the ground. Take it, get it, sell it on the secondary market, make your money.
Excellent.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. He didn't
Oh
pay
my
attention
goodness.
at all. Oh my goodness, yes. Attention deficit disorder over here.
I'd go to the birds. We're getting more intelligence out of them.
The only take
back
that
to
I
you.
would have. Where were we? Oh, the take that I would have, unlike these birds and whatnot. Oh, can we go back as close to the birds? All right. So the take that I would have for okay, not that close, for all people out there is that don't give up. You know, we talked about the IPO in the secondary market. If you don't get the IPO, you know what? Do a little bit of research, figure out what you like, figure out what you think is, you know, in the whatever stocks that are traded or bonds or whatever it might be. You don't succeed with the IPO, you know what? A lot of money, a lot of people made a lot of money off the secondary market. So just use a little bit of wisdom and don't give up on that. See ya, biznitches.